There's a whole wide world out there for you to explore, but then again, there's a whole bunch of wide worlds waiting inside your Xbox too, and a load of them are now cheaper than ever thanks to this week's open world sale. This video is brought to you by Multiverses.
First up, we've got the game that totally flipped the script on the Metal Gear Solid franchise, The Phantom Pain. In the past, we'd gotten used to sneaking our way through contained levels, perhaps dropping the odd guard with a well-timed tranquilizer or a little close-quarters combat along the way. But The Phantom Pain presented a whole new challenge by dropping us into a desert world where you never know where the next threat is going to come from. On the flip side though, this opens up a huge array of new possibilities, allowing you to take on each mission in whatever fashion you see fit. Pick your enemies off from afar, call in support from the air, or go old school and sneak around inside a cardboard box. While the open world setting might be brand new, you'll find the classic brand of crazy Kojima storytelling is present and correct, making this 75% discount the perfect way to pass the time while we wait to hear more about his new Xbox project.
Now go!
Okay everybody, shush, just hear me out. The world is in pretty bad shape since the whole Cataclysm thing, and we're now being attacked by monsters a lot more than we were before. I get it, it's not ideal, but I've got an idea. What if we raised an army of superpowered vampire soldiers by jamming parasites inside dead bodies? Yeah, that might sound like an absolutely terrible plan, but it makes for an absolutely great game called Code Vein. In this Souls-ish action RPG, you'll head out in pairs to take on the monstrous horde using axes, spears, bayonets, and basically anything else sharp and nasty that you can get your hands on. Whether you're playing in co-op or with an AI partner, you'll be glad to have someone watching your back while you explore this corrupted open world. Now 80% off, Code Vein could be the anime-style Souls-like you've been waiting for.
The world of Hong Kong is a whole lot prettier and less monstery than Code Vein's dystopia, but you'll still want to keep an eye out while you're trawling through it in Sleeping Dogs. That's because you're playing as Wei Shen, an undercover cop who infiltrates a triad organization, effectively ensuring that lots of people on both sides of the law would very much like to murder him. Not the smartest move if I'm being completely honest, but fortunately, he's pretty good with his fists, allowing Sleeping Dogs to combine martial arts combat with GTA-style sandbox gameplay in a way no other game has really done before or after. Those roundhouse kicks look especially slick with the definitive edition spruced up visuals, and it's now 85% off too.
And the last open world we'll be exploring from this week's sale is the beautiful South American country of Solace, a place that would truly be heaven on earth if it wasn't for all the hurricanes and shady military contractors. The fourth game in the Just Cause series picks up the story of Rico Rodriguez as he travels to Solace to do battle with the world's most formidable private army, the Black Hand. And if he can learn a little more about his father's mysterious past along the way, then all the better. But let's be real for a sec, we're not here for the touching patriarchal plotlines, we're here to crash jets, wingsuit into hurricanes, and grapple gun everything in sight. In many ways, Just Cause 4 is the ultimate sandbox experience, giving you all the tools you need to explore its world in the most ludicrous, life-endangering manner available. It's now 80% off, and it's also on Xbox and PC Game Pass.
Next up, we've got a selection of incredibly next-gen titles for you to enjoy. Featuring all of the lush graphics, immersive soundscapes, and lightning-quick load times you've come to expect from the Xbox Series X and S. Set inside one of Tiny Tina's tabletop adventures, Wonderlands takes Borderlands' refined shoot-and-loot formula and adds a dash of fantasy to spice things up. So you can expect to cast spells with one hand and fire hot lead with the other. The Next Level edition looks and sounds truly sublime, supporting 60 FPS frame rates and spatial sound. And since there are no limits to Tina's wicked imagination, the Wonderlands just keep getting wider and weirder through expansions like the recent Shattering Spectre Glass. Between that and this week's 25% discount, now would be a good time to get your Tiny Tina on.
After taking a year out to pump some iron, the WWE series came back bigger and better than ever with 2K22. The latest game features a huge lineup of past and present stars, all looking more realistic than ever, especially in 4K Ultra HD on the Xbox Series X. And the roster just keeps on expanding, adding even more iconic figures from WWE's past, as well as a few celebrity wildcards. So if you've ever wanted to power slam Machine Gun Kelly through a table, now's your chance. I mean, who wouldn't? The gameplay engine, the control scheme, the visuals, it's all been totally redesigned from the ground up, and the result is a wrestling game that finds just the right blend of authentic simulation and arcade fun. Grab it this week and you'll be making a 40% saving to boot.
Next up, we've got Rainbow Six Extraction, where you'll be using those squad shooter skills to take on deadly aliens rather than the usual crop of human terrorists and troublemakers. And it presents some very interesting challenges. Since the Archeans are always evolving, you'll have to do the same. The latest Crisis event introduced us to the exceptionally creepy Nepolism enemies, but also the exceptionally useful Aura Grenade to help take them down. It's a real give and take situation. But if you think you've got what it takes to repel those space invaders, Rainbow Six Extraction is available on Xbox and PC Game Pass, and it's now 50% off too.
If you love a choose-your-own-adventure type story where a whole lot of the choices end in your grisly demise, then the Dark Pictures anthology is definitely for you. House of Ashes begins with 4 American soldiers and an Iraqi lieutenant stumbling into an underground temple together. Now, this would be a great chance for them to lay their differences aside and enjoy the archaeological marvels that they'd unearthed if said marvels didn't also turn out to be filled with ancient monsters. It's an undeniably sticky situation that can end in a whole bunch of unhappy ways, so make your choices carefully if you want your favourite character to make it to the end. But since House of Ashes is now 50% off, that's one decision you shouldn't have to agonise over.
And speaking of teams that sometimes struggle to get along, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is also included in this week's next-gen sale. With its super colourful, psychedelic visuals and spectacular laser battles, this third-person shooter was made for ray tracing, and that's exactly what Xbox Series X gamers will get when they fire it up. But they're not having all the fun. Xbox Series S players can also indulge in an uncapped frame rate to make the firefights even more fluid. Whatever you're playing it on though, Guardians of the Galaxy is a blast thanks to a sharp script that combines some rapid-fire one-liners with some genuinely moving moments for everyone's favourite freaky found family. Now 50% and available on Xbox and PC Game Pass, this is the perfect game to tide you over until the third volume arrives.
Last up, we've got a game that was great when it arrived as a day one addition to Xbox Game Pass and which has only gotten greater since. Outriders. This RPG-ish co-op shooter lets you and a couple of buddies form an elite team of supernaturally enhanced soldiers, mess with time, start fires with your brain, and pull off a bunch of other neat tricks as you try to stay alive on the horrifying planet that humanity now calls home. You'll get to learn even more about the horrors Enoch holds with the massive new upgrade World Slayer, although fortunately it also adds a whole mess of useful new armor and weapons to help you out. Delivered in smooth 4K 60 on Xbox Series X and S, Outriders is one of the most exhilarating games to hit this generation of consoles so far, and the World Slayer edition is now 25% off, while you'll find the base game on Xbox and PC Game Pass. If you're looking to escape into a whole new world or put your shiny new Xbox Series X or S to the test, then this week's sale has got you covered. Tell us all about your shopping plans down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell before you go. This video was brought to you by Multiverses, the free-to-play platform fighter that lets you team up with iconic characters like Batman, Arya Stark, Shaggy, Bugs Bunny. All your favourites are here as you fight to save the multiverse. Pair up your favourites in Multiverses 2v2 mode and find which dynamic duo works best for you. Multiverses supports crossplay and cross-progression across its available platforms, and with even more characters, maps, modes, and cosmetics coming over the following months, you'll want to get in on the ground floor now. Multiverses is free to play right now.
Computer, strange energy signature detected. What's my location?
Hey, dude! What's going on here?
Where am I? What's up, Doc?
Look out!
Hey!